half article is better than thousands of Buhari.
Buhari is doing the best in Nigeria.
Presidential election.
You're watching Rootstv Nigeria, and this is Dance of Democracy. I am Itobi Moore Edit. Nigeria held its presidential elections on the 23rd of February 2019, with incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari declared the winner by the electoral umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission, but not without some clamoring from oppositions who mentioned that they were wide rigging for the result to come out in favor of the ruling APC. Well, I have with me my guests, two of them, and we'll be looking at the fallout of the elections, presidential elections, and what INEC is doing to ensure that what we witness in the presidential elections don't occur in the gubernatorial elections, which is coming up on the 9th of March. In my extreme left is Jido Ojo. He's the Executive Director of OJA Development Consult, and he's a columnist with the Punch newspaper. Thank you so much, Mr. Ojo, for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And I have Mokhtar Modiboy, is a Community Engagement Assistant with Connected Development Code and an election observer for the presidential elections. Thank you, Mokhtar, for being here.
Thank you.
Let me start with you, Mokhtar. What did your men see on the field?
Okay, you know, we have a platform. We have what we use in observing election was Usabe, who is a platform that gives you the lifetime situation of the whole thing. So we've recorded a number of underage voting, you know, places where ballot boxes are not fully equipped with covers and what have you. So we've recorded a whole lot of numbers of issues with that. Places where voting did not even take place, places where voting was interrupted, and we were told by INEC that each and every polling unit is supposed to have four unarmed police officers. We've seen places whereby INEC did not deploy that police officers, there's only one police officer and things like that. So there are a whole lot of lacunas, but we won't say anything rather than INEC should stand up and do their responsibilities, but there are a whole lot of issues regarding that issues.
Well, Mr. Ojo, as an analyst, where did INEC get it all wrong in the run-up to the presidential elections?
First and foremost, the postponement came as a root shock. Recall that the election was postponed on the dawn of February 16, when everyone was set and was already on the field. That was number one. Two was the issue of logistics. We are taught that having postponed for 1 week to get a better job done, that going out on February 23 will be seeing a seamless exercise. I was also an accredited observer on the platform of Nigeria Women Trust Fund. And then last Saturday, we actually went out and saw things for ourselves. I observed the election in Buhari Area Council. And what we saw was rather shocking that much as some polling units opened on time, several others did not open until 2-3 hours after. There were also issues with voters finding their names on the register. There were issues with, you know, the malfunctioning of card reader and lack of proper understanding of procedures by some of the INEC officials. Like in a polling unit, INEC presiding officer was asking us whether somebody whose name is not on the register but who has a PVC can vote. And I asked, you are trained for 3 days. You should know that. If you don't know, then refer to your regulations and guidelines for the elections. But, I mean, one has to also contextualize the issue. As observer, I only observe in maybe 10-15 polling units. There are 120,000, less 17, 119,973 polling units altogether in Nigeria. And for you to give a factual account, unless you deploy exactly to all of the polling units, because as we saw issues in our own part, there are other places where people recorded seamless exercise, people finding their names and all of that. So it's not enough to characterize the election. Like I've joined the issue with some of my friends who say, "Oh, the election was marked by violence," and I said, "Look, it doesn't. There is no supporting evidence to that effect. Okay. Yeah, there are isolated instances of electoral violence, but as long as it's not widespread, you cannot use that as a way to characterize that the election was marked by violence."
But what about the fact that there were suggestions about hotspots across the country where INEC were supposed to have made adequate preparation in terms of security, like Akwa Ibom and other eastern states that were noticed?
Well, there are states that have history of electoral violence. Akwa Ibom is one of them. Rivers is one of them. Delta is one of them. And a couple of other states. But, it's not within the purview of INEC to provide election security. If you look at the budget for the 2019 elections, 242 billion from funds received for the election, 189 billion of that went to INEC. 53 billion went to the security agencies, Office of National Security Advisor, DSS, police, immigration.
Which means they had adequate funds.
Exactly. So you now expect them to do their own work. Part of the reason why INEC said the election started late in many places was even because security were not on ground to accompany poll officials to where they are supposed to work. There is also the issue of NURTW members whom INEC has signed MOU with, reneging on their promise, late in the morning, saying that they have to be paid fully, 100% of the money for their. I mean, it's not done anywhere. You are supposed to take poll workers and materials and then do reverse logistics, which means you are also supposed to pick them back. But you are not demanding full payment ahead. What if you renege and you didn't go to
let me hold there, Mukhtar. Code was not the only observer on the field. I mean, just like you've heard Mr. Ojo, they had their own group. The international observers were here. In fact, lots of them. And after the presidential elections, there were observations. Do you think INEC will consider these observations moving forward?
Okay. First of all, I would say we have over 5,000 volunteers across 33 states of Nigeria. Our own platform is a platform that reports lifetime situations. I remembered we reporting a report of underage voting in Takum local government of Taraba State. And INEC, we after putting it on Twitter, I think a whole lot of people retweeted, and we tag INEC on the same issue. And I get surprised when INEC said, "See, they are not here. We are not aware of all these things." So whatever we do on our platform, we give the exact location, we give the exact time that this thing happens. You understand? So I don't know whether INEC is going to use the observation of observers or not. But actually, INEC will be very good if they use what observers really observe, because all these people are spread across the states in Nigeria and did a wonderful job, because everybody that is sending an observer might have trust that observer. He trusts that observer and verified him before doing that, because for our process we do verification in three aspects. We have geolocators, we have a categorization team, and we have a WhatsApp group that we push into these people to question the whole incident and what happens. And we do incident time calling to get the full information and full details of whatever happens. So if INEC will do this by using the observation of observers,
which is very important.
It will be very good.
Well, Mr. Ojo, INEC did announce the results, declaring the incumbent winner. And now we're hearing that supplementary elections will be conducted. In those polling units, the elections were cancelled. How do you make that up? I mean, result has been announced already. Certificate of return has been issued to the incumbent. What do we do?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I think there are a number of senatorial and House of Reps constituencies where elections were declared inconclusive. And it is in those areas that INEC is conducting supplementary elections. Don't forget that the three elections were held on Saturday: presidential, House of Reps, and senatorial. I tell you that in Kogi East, in Ondo South, and in Imo North, the senatorial elections were declared inconclusive. So INEC is saying on March 9, all the supplementary election in the polling units where the elections were cancelled, alongside with the state House of Assembly and governorship election, will be held together. I'm not sure that they are going to have any repeat of the presidential election. If they do, I don't know what will inform that, because like you said, the exercise has been completed. Yes. They may have thought, if I don't have that information, that's what I'm saying. But let's assuming without considering that they intended to do to have the run election in those polling units where they cancelled the election. Recall that there were serious allegations that some of the cancelled votes, there are issues with them. Some of them is tantamount to vote suppression, in which case you just cancel for cancelling sake in order to reduce the margin of victory of one candidate against the other. But I don't think INEC is intending to have a supplementary presidential election anywhere. If they do, they possibly wanted to fulfill all righteousness, in which case, plus or minus, incumbent will still win. Why did I say so? You are looking at the number of council votes in the region of 2.8 million thereabout. Yeah. Now, the incumbent is leading the first runner with how many? 3.92 million. So even if the entire council votes were to be given to the opposition, it won't make any difference. But what would be, for record purposes, the margin at the end of it? Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's the technicality I think INEC made. That's if what you are saying, imputing that INEC intend to have supplementary election in places where they have cancelled votes. If they are going ahead with that, what will now be on record is maybe from the margin of 3.92 million that the declared winner is leading, you can now have a reduced margin, which again will be what PDP will possibly take to the tribunal to see possibility of now still getting victory, the victory of APC upturned. But I think that again, I assert is unprecedented. For you to have declared the winner, issued a certificate of return, and wanting to go and do supplementary election in those places. If I can chip in to a question you asked Mukhtar, I think INEC itself, having realized that a lot of people were disenchanted with the outcome of that election, not necessarily in terms of who wins and who loses, but in terms of procedure and the seamless ways things were supposed to have moved. They met with, on Thursday, I think Thursday, yes, the commission met with all the resident electoral commissioners and other directing staffs, and there was a marching order that things actually have to improve for March 9. You recall that the outcome of that election shows that there was a significant drop in the turnout of voters. Exactly. In the 2015, we have 44%. In this election, we have barely 35.9% turnout, which is a significant drop. That's why the fact that we have an exponential increase in the number of registered voters from 68 million.
But do you think internal crises in political parties are what we are seeing right now, playing out on the polity generally? Because from part of what observers listed,